Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Hi everyone, I'm Giuseppe. I'm a game designer and a programmer. I've been making games professionally since 2007, and after a career in the AAA industry, working on franchises like Gears of War, I'm in the middle of starting my own indie game studio in London. I've been wanting to make games since I was around 7 years old, at least according to my mom, and the main reason for that may as well be the game I'm going to talk to you about today. So, I want to take you on a bit of a personal journey, as this game means a lot to me. It's a journey that starts with a strange alien world, vector graphics, and a beautiful, almost sad quality. I'm talking about Another World, also known as Out of This World in some regions, a game released for Amiga and PC way back in 1991, created by the incredibly talented Éric Chahi. If you never played it, this might be just the most beautiful thing you've missed in gaming history. I'm not exaggerating. And if you have played it, well, you probably already know where I'm going with this. Another World is a 2D cinematic platformer. So it's in the same genre as the original Prince of Persia, or for more recent comparisons, narrative platformers like Limbo, Lunark, or Inside, and it inspired iconic games like Fumito Ueda's Ico. Another World was a game ahead of its time, not just in visuals, but in how it felt. It wasn't just a game, it was a cinematic experience. And I don't mean that in the buzzword way it's thrown around today. This was 1991. Games just didn't do what this game was doing. If you are not familiar with this game, I invite you to discover it by watching a long play on YouTube, or even better, download it. The 20th anniversary edition is everywhere. All consoles, all the new, it's on mobile, and even on Switch. This game is incredibly elegant under a game design point of view. It has a narrative that unfolds entirely without words, except for one small line from a computer in the opening and some incomprehensible words in an alien language. Everything else, story, tension, emotion, is communicated through animation, atmosphere, and sound design. And I need to stop for a second just to tell you how good of a job Jean-Francois Freitas did on music and sound design for this game. The game features music only during the intro and the final sequence, and it was released on Amiga 500. We are talking about a computer from the 80s. This means that the music is sample based and has some severe limitations, but I don't exaggerate when I say that both compositions are some of the best tunes to ever grace a sound chip. At the start of the game, after a gorgeous intro sequence full of rotoscoped animation, you are dropped into a hostile alien planet with no explanation, no tutorial, and no UI. Just you, a young physicist named Lester, and your abilities to survive. The first level is iconic. You emerge from a teleportation accident and you are underwater. You only have few seconds to push your joystick up to swim upwards, or you'll be dragged down by tentacles appearing from the bottom of the screen. Straight away, the game is teaching the player two things. It's making you feel surprised, and it's teaching you that in this game you will die a lot, as it's almost guaranteed that you'll die immediately the first time you play the game. This is not an accident, it's a clever design choice. Eric wants you to understand that you are in danger and that you are on an alien planet full of things that can kill you. After escaping the tentacles, you surface to this silent, beautiful alien landscape, and you start having to avoid poisonous leeches. And after a few screens, you are suddenly being chased by a massive, snarling beast in this adrenaline pumping, beautifully animated sequence. And when you think you are dead and you reach at the very end of the screen, then there These alien guards shoot the creature, knock you out, and drag you off. And everything happens in game. You feel in total control of your character, and the short cutscenes are integrated seamlessly into this flow. This actually puts many of the modern AAA games to shame to this day. But Another World is not just a beautiful game, it's also a beautifully made game. What blew my mind later, when I started learning more about it, was how this game was made. Éric Chahi did almost everything himself. He used a custom vector graphics engine that he developed, which allowed him to animate this incredibly fluid style using polygons instead of sprites. That gave the game a unique look, stylized, minimal, and somehow more alive than anything else at the time. The game also fits on a single floppy disk. So think about that, one single floppy. The game ran within just 600 kilobytes of RAM, and the size of the executable is for the DOS version is just 20 kilobytes. Why so small? Because that file isn't even the entire game, isn't even the game, it's a virtual machine. So allow me to go a little bit technical on this. Essentially, the game logic, all the events, have been programmed in a custom scripting language that Éric made and then compiled into this bytecode. Then this virtual machine reads the bytecode and essentially plays the game. The virtual machine is doing the heavy lifting of handling things like graphics, sound, and input, and the system calls. And this design choice made the game incredibly portable. So the bytecode stays the same across platforms, and only the virtual machine had to be recompiled and re-implemented. So that's how the game ended up on PC, from Amiga to PC, Atari ST, DOS, SNES, 3DO, and much later on Game Boy Advance, Windows, XP, iOS, modern version of Windows later on, and all the consoles you can imagine, essentially. This may be, right after Doom, the game that was ported on the biggest number of platforms. The animations are all done, I think, with another custom tool that Éric did. They are in vector art, they are made out of polygons, and they are made that way because it was otherwise impossible to store that amount of data on a floppy disk. A previous game on the Amiga, Dragon Slayer, used 6 floppies for its full screen animated sequences. And it was actually this game that made Éric think that he could do better, and so he did. He also made extensive use of rotoscoping, an animation technique where you film live footage and then you trace over it, frame by frame. It's a technique that Disney used for classic animated movies like Snow White and Cinderella, and it's also what Jordan Mechner did on Prince of Persia, and even before that on Karateka. I don't know if Karateka was an inspiration for Éric, or if he and Jordan just developed a similar technique, maybe both inspired by the movie industry or 80s music videos. As you can tell by now, I'm a huge fan of this game. It really means a lot to me. So let me go back to the story. There is something deeply human about the story in Another World, despite its alien setting. After you wake up in a prison cell, you meet another captive, an alien who doesn't look different from the guards, but there is something in his eyes, something kind. Maybe he's from another tribe, or from a different social caste. There is this unspoken connection. No dialogue, no subtitles, just the gestures, glances, and a shared struggle. You and your new friend escape together, and the game becomes this rare kind of buddy journey, one that unfolds entirely through gameplay. It's minimalist storytelling at its finest. Over the years, this game became more than a memory for me. It became a ritual. I play it once a year, often at the end of the year, in one sitting. It's not very long, maybe 40 minutes if you know what you're doing, but it's always immersive. It's a cozy experience that reminds me how beautiful and simple video games can be. I've played all its versions on original hardware, on every port I could find: Amiga, DOS, SNES, 3DO, you name it. And each time it still feels as powerful as the first time. But what really makes Another World special to me is what it sparked. At the very beginning of the game, there is a title screen that simply says, by Éric Chahi. And that blew my 8 years old mind. A single guy made this, not some big company, not a team of dozens of people, just Éric. So I remember staring at this credit screen thinking, wait, if one guy made this, maybe I can make games too. And that was it. That was the moment. From there on, I was on a journey to make games, and I made my career out of it and a big part of my life. Another World hasn't aged for me. It's still pure expression of what games can be: art, story, challenge, emotion, all packed into this minimalist masterpiece. It showed me that sometimes less is more, and sometimes one person with a vision can build an entire world. So, if you never played Another World, do yourself a favor and go watch a long play on YouTube. Or, even better, go play it. Happy gaming.
Hey, you there! This is Nomad speaking. If you love retro video games and you're itching for some nostalgia, check out the Retro Wildlands podcast. In each episode, I'll use game music and sound to pull you into the gaming experience while I share my own thoughts and maybe a few memories. It's a great way to relive one of your favorite games or learn about a new one. Check out the Retro Wildlands podcast at superpodnetwork.com or wherever you listen to your podcast.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.